You'll often want to introduce randomness to your Flash games and design effects. Accomplish this with a random number generator script. This script will no doubt utilize the math class's math.random function. I have an example of that in this file, the random underscore integer.fla file. Open that up. Click on the first keyframe there in the actions layer. Open up the actions panel. You'll see my math.random function right here. This random function creates random numbers between 0 and 1, including 0, but not, interestingly enough, including 1. You can then multiply or modify this number to get any span of numbers needed. In this case, I'm multiplying the number generated by 5 and then adding 1. To generate an integer, you'll use the math.round function right here. We've seen that before. That will round off any decimal places. I'm going to go ahead and trace this variable, my number, in the output panel. Go ahead and click on Control Test Movie, and you'll get a random number here. That's 4. If we do it again, it'll be a different number. It'll be an integer. Since I'm rounding it, there's 3. And continuing to do this will give me different values. There's 6. So this construct here will give me a random number between 1 and 6. If I change the 5 to a 9, that'll give me a random number between 1 and 10. If I choose the Control-Enter key, I can output this and test it multiple times. There's the number 10, 7, 5. So that gives you an idea of how you would then multiply your random number by any series of numbers that then get a span of random numbers. To establish a random number between a given range, set up a variable representing the high value and a variable setting up the low value, and then manipulate the random number to fall between those variables. If you open up the random underscore number underscore range.fla file, open up the script in frame 1 of the actions layer, you'll see a script that does just this. So you'll generate a random number, and then you'll return a random number between a specified range. Also, this will throw an error if the low or high value is not provided. So here we'll create a function, random number function. We'll set up some arguments here. Low value, high value needs to be a number. Then we'll set up our variables, low number variable, high number variable. If there's no low number variable defined, you'll throw an error, low must be defined. Likewise, if there's no high number specified, it'll throw an error, high number must be defined. Then we'll go ahead and return our math random function. That will create a random number between 0 and 1, but not including 1. This math floor function here, that will round down to the lowest nearest integer, so you're going to round down whatever number you get here. Then you're going to multiply that by 1 plus the high minus the low plus the low number. That'll give you that range. This is probably the most important part of it right here in terms of using this script. I'm going to generate a random number between 1 and 100. Notice that there's my low and high values. Let's go ahead and forget to post a low value, or only post one variable here in this argument. If we do a control test movie, it'll throw this error, high must be defined. Let's go back and put in 90. So we're going to do a random number between 90 and 100 and test the movie, and the value comes up 91, which is between 90 and 100. Let's try between 95 and 100, and gives me 95. Do it one more time just to make sure this is working correctly. 96, so it is working, giving me a random number in between the range specified in this random number parameter right there. So you can set up this part of the script. This is a function right here that will generate the random number, and then calling the function is very simple. call it here with the function name random number, making sure that you provide the 2 parameters that are required in this structure here. Now be aware when to use decimals and when to use integers when generating your random numbers. Many properties, such as the X and Y locations of movie clips and other objects, take decimal values or integers, but many others, such as the go to and play method, require integers only. In other words, it's not possible to go to and play frame 1.5. In this case, you need to convert your numbers to an integer before using them in your scripts. We're now ready to investigate one of the most important scripts for the type of games that I've been showing you, and that is controlling objects, the directional movement of objects using the arrow keys, which will be the topic and the scripts reviewed in the next movie.